Sit that right there, don't go nowhere, little baby gon' shake that, 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 shake, yeah, I like that, bring that right here, sit that right there, don't go.
Hello. Welcome back. We back with another reaction video. Today we are reacting to a Swamp Stories video. What the title is, baby? Murder for Dolph. Damn, these niggas. Hey, YouTube, get on their ass. This hand on game. Murder for Dolph. How Yo Gotti's crew are getting obliterated in Memphis. Stay inside or get spanked. Ridiculous. Utterly ridiculous. Like, damn. It's Delta ass boys, nigga. It's BTA babies, nigga. What's going on here? Let's get right into it, man. You know this is going to be a two-parter. We don't have to speak about this. It should be understood by now.
The Delta is by far America's most dangerous region. Dirt poverty, humid weather, mosquitoes, corroded infrastructure, disease rates, and don't get me started on the crime. The region stretches from Louisiana to Mississippi, Alabama, and kind of up to western Tennessee. And if you're unfamiliar with the area, it holds by far the highest poverty rates and violent crime rates in the country. Like, it's exponentially more dangerous here than anywhere else you could go. The cities really speak for themselves. I mean, Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Jackson, Mobile, Birmingham, Shreveport, and most importantly, the largest city of them all, Memphis, Tennessee. This is a place where if you haven't been, you truly have no idea.
And it's like too much going on, and I just can't.
The last week has felt like an eternity for a Memphis woman.
Now, my kids can't even go outside no more.
A simple act this mother no longer takes for granted after she and her uncle were shot outside of her home on Eldridge Avenue. This all stemmed from an argument at the B52 market where a man allegedly threatened to kill her after she confronted him about her child. She says the man then followed her home and opened fire.
Charges for the deadly crime spree in Memphis during Super Bowl Sunday. Cordarian Kraft was indicted on 48 counts, including first-degree murder and aggravated assault. During the crime spree, Kraft shot and killed one man, hurt two women, and carjacked two other people. That weekend in February, Kraft had been out on a $100,000 bond after being accused in a separate robbing and shooting this past November.
The violent crime in Memphis is absolutely out of control. To put it in perspective, in 2024, San Francisco had 35 homicides. Now, this is a city of 850,000 people. Now, Memphis is a city of only 600,000, and they saw 357 homicides in the same exact period. This gives Memphis a homicide rate nearly 3 times higher than Chicago and 9 times higher than Los Angeles. Memphis is truly a scary place, but let me just tell you that it wasn't always this way. At one point, Memphis was a thriving middle-class city. A city known for rock and roll, blues, barbecue, a massive military training base, and for being a trading hub along the Mississippi River. It was also a major factor in the civil rights movement, which in a twisted way would be the beginning of its downfall. As the strive for equality continued to succeed in the 1960s, the white population of Memphis left with a quickness like never seen before. In fact, the city of Memphis went from 91% white in 1960 down to just 24% white in 1990. Now, why exactly does this matter? Well, it's not because of race. It's because anytime a huge chunk of your population leaves the city, it's gonna have some negative effects. Tax revenue falls, schools close, police are laid off, companies leave, and that's how we start the spiral that we have today. Like, if you go around Memphis today, you'll see abandoned houses everywhere, lack of jobs, rundown schools, and definitely a severe lack of policing. In fact, in 2023, Memphis solved only 31% of murders, and that's compared to 65% nationally. So yeah, Memphis is an extremely rough place to grow up and even harder to make it out of, as you'll see in this video. A city where simply being successful will make you a target and where your own friends will eliminate you out of pure jealousy. Zero structure, zero rules, no big homies, just all pure chaos.
Exactly.
Welcome to the war in Memphis. But before we get into it, let me finally run the intro.
That's 40,000 people in my city.
The story begins in North Memphis, specifically the infamous Ridgecrest Apartments. Infamous for all the wrong reasons, and this is where a boy named Mario Mims was born in 1981. Mario grew up in a truly hectic environment, outside the apartment, but most importantly inside as well. Unfortunately, as a young child, Mario saw his parents cook up and trap out of the apartment, exposing him to things that no child should ever see.
If I open the deep freezer to get a popsicle, it stacks some money in the deep freezer. If they drop me off over my auntie house to play with my cousin, it stacks some money in they shit.
Despite his talk,
I'm gonna keep it a stack. While that is crazy, I mean, did you still get the popsicle? No, realistically, like nigga, I'm about to go see what's up with the ice cream man. What is it? $5 or 20? Hey, I need that whole popsicle truck.
Toxic environment, Gotti was smart and was able to succeed in school. However, when he got to his teenage years, he had a lot of responsibilities because he was basically out on his own. So around the age of 14, Gotti began hustling in the rough streets of Memphis. And because he learned the game from his family, he was able to do it pretty successfully, enabling him to buy some things that he never thought he could have. For him, it was a Mustang GT on Dayton's and a bunch of fresh clothes. That's all that really mattered. But Mario knew that he didn't want to be a criminal forever. In fact, he had much bigger dreams for his life. Inspired by the local success stories of 3 6 Mafia and 8 Ball and MJG, he knew that he wanted to be a rapper. So from the age of 15, Mario began recording music and selling his CDs out of the trunk. His rap name was Lil Yo, and he dropped his first mixtape as a sophomore in high school in 1996. Long story short, Mario kept hustling his mixtapes for 13 straight years. To put it simply, he just never gave up, as he finally cracked his way into the industry in 2009. With songs like 5 Star and Women Lie Men Lie featuring Lil Wayne, he was becoming a household name. But being a 30-plus-year-old brand new rapper, he knew that he couldn't be a rapper forever, so he started to shift his mentality into being a boss. So in 2012, he opened his label called CMG, short for Cocaine Money Gang. The idea was that he was already a hometown hero in Memphis, so he wanted to sign local talent and take their careers to the next level. However, CMG was off to a slow start, as for the first 2 years, nobody signed to Gotti. There just wasn't really a lot of local talent or interest to sign to an artist like Yo Gotti, cause no disrespect, but why would you sign to Yo Gotti when you can sign to literally anyone else? But as we know, Gotti is persistent, and just like his rap career, he was willing to be patient until he found the right artist. Well, that takes us to 2014, when Gotti was able to find his perfect protege to sign.
Dolph.
We now shift to the south side of Memphis, specifically the notorious Castalia Heights neighborhood. Abandoned houses, rats, roaches, and non-stop gunplay. Here is where a man named Dolph Thornton was raised most of his life. He was actually born to his parents in Chicago, but if you know anything about history, you know that everyone in Chicago's grandparents come from Memphis or Mississippi. Well, just like Yo Gotti, Dolph's parents were involved in the game as well, so they sent him to live with their grandma while they did the street stuff in Chicago. They figured that they didn't want him exposed to their lifestyle, and grandma's house would be a much better environment. And while yes, grandma was strict and tried to keep him sheltered, his neighborhood of Castalia was just as bad as Chicago and probably actually worse. Dolph is really from the bottom of the bottom, and because of this, his grandma did her absolute best to make sure he was disciplined.
My grandma was she was little, she one of them little bitty ladies, you know what I'm saying? Then she older, but man, my grandmama don't play no game. I'm talking about, it's like, nah, it ain't even about the ass whoop. She would do that when I was little, but she still had this fear that made me fear her even when I was in high school and got grown and older. You feel me? Like, she give you this look, or she got this, she'll cuss you out in a second and not even think about it.
She prepared the nigga for life. She fucked the nigga up in a good way. Like, cause it's like, I don't expect shit from nobody.
He would later appreciate her discipline, but as a teenager, he really didn't understand it, and he rebelled and jumped into the streets. So while still in high school, Dolph started hustling the streets of Memphis and stacking up major paper. But again, just like Gotti, he knew that he didn't want to do that forever, and he had bigger dreams for his life. He knew that he wanted to do something with music, but he wasn't sure if he knew how to rap. That's until 2008 when his friends would get him in the studio, and he realized that, oh my goodness, I can actually rap. This became his new hustle and passion, and he began slanging mixtapes in the streets of Memphis. Slowly but surely, he began gaining traction, but he never had the idea of signing to a label. Instead, he wanted to start his own. This is exactly what he did, as in 2010, he started his label Paper Route ENT, also known as PRE. Basically, he created his own movement and it gained recognition from Gucci Mane, Trey the Truth, Rick Ross, and most importantly, Yo Gotti. Yep, in 2014, Gotti discovered Young Dolph's mixtapes and music videos, and he saw all the potential in the world. He saw him as Memphis's next biggest superstar, but more importantly for him, CMG's next biggest artist, or first biggest artist, because remember, at this time, other than Yo Gotti himself, the CMG label had not done well at all. So for Gotti, Dolph was like light at the end of the tunnel. This guy can save the brand. On top of this, he figured that Dolph signing with him was a no-brainer. Like, why would he ever turn that down? I'm the biggest, richest boss in Memphis, and I can give him a deal that he can't turn down. On top of this, he figured that the trust would be there, because if you don't know, Dolph and Gotti's older brother named Juk, well, they used to move weight together in the streets. Well, long story short, in 2014, Gotti contacts Dolph and tries to sign him. Obviously, he's expecting Dolph to be ecstatic and to want to sign with him right away. But that's not the case at all. In fact, Dolph has zero intentions to sign with Yo Gotti, no matter how big the bag is. It truly was nothing personal, as Dolph really just didn't want to sign to another man. He wanted to be his own boss. So in his mind, he respectfully declined Gotti's offer. No hard feelings, just business is business. Now this makes perfect sense, right? Well, it's not that simple, and here's how everything would play out. It's the summer of 2014.
My thing is, why would I want to sign to you and I already got my own label started, basically? And it seems like before you, nigga. The fuck? Like, no. Maybe a collab, but nigga, no, I'm not signing to you. That's crazy. Like, I might as well just sign my own artist and make my own money. Hello? Nigga trying to be a boss, nigga. I'm an employee.
Just a couple months removed from Dolph turning down Gotti's offer. Well, this is when Dolph makes the shocking decision to sign with a small upcoming label in San Francisco. This would of course be Empire, and if you're familiar with Empire, you know they're not the typical label. In fact, they're more so of a distribution company. Basically, you keep creative control and ownership of your music, and Empire markets and distributes for a percentage of the revenue. It's a very smart deal for a self-motivated hustler like Dolph, because you don't have a label breathing down your back or holding back anything you do. But regardless, this is not what's important for the story. What's important is how Yo Gotti felt about it. Now, regardless of specifics, let's put ourselves in Yo Gotti's shoes. You told me as a man that the reason you turned down my deal is because you don't want to sign a deal at all. And then just a couple months later, you go and sign a record deal. So pretty much you lied to my face. And as a boss from your own city, you should probably have some more respect for me. Not only did I offer you a big bag, but you also used to move weight and hang with my brother, and you still didn't have enough respect to tell me the truth? Who do you think you are, lying to the face of the king of Memphis?
Yeah, that's pride. That would be your pride speaking. And hopefully there's no Rico. But nigga, if there is, they're coming for you, brother. You're the leader, man. Like, bro, no, we're not about to do this. Okay, he said no. Go find artists that are better than him and use them to outshine him. Now, it wasn't gonna happen, nigga. I'm sorry. Like, Dolph might actually be the best thing to come out of Memphis, my nigga, ever. So there's that. But hey, you could try.
You. Regardless of right or wrong, this is how I truly believe that Gotti felt. Unfortunately, he took the situation personally, and from here, tensions would rise.
You was a money nigga. There's no way you should be thinking about beef.
While Gotti was feeling some type of way about Dolph, Dolph's career was taking off to the next level. He dropped hit songs like Preach, Cut It, Get Paid, and his mixtapes were doing pretty well as well. Dolph becomes somewhat of a household name by 2016, which only adds fuel to the fire of Yo Gotti's tension. Now, the situation could very well be deeper than this, but from the outside looking in, it was just a business disagreement that turned sour. Well, regardless, Dolph started getting tired of the subliminals and negative energy from Gotti's camp, and he decided to set the record straight. On February 19, 2016, Dolph adds major fuel to the fire, rubbing his newfound success in Yo Gotti's face. He releases his debut studio album called King of Memphis, where he's obviously claiming the throne to his city. Now, as the saying goes, this city is way too small for the both of us. Like, oh, you drop a couple hit songs and a few decent mixtapes, and now you think that you're ahead of me as the king of the city? Nah, no way. Right or wrong, Gotti took this as the ultimate disrespect, and he wanted to prove a point. Now that introduces us to Gotti's new artist at the time by the name of Black Youngsta. To the world, Youngsta was a goofy, funny rapper that made songs that you could dance to, that's it. But little did people know before he was a rapper, streets of Memphis, he was known for, you know, doing Memphis activities. Well, right after Dolph would drop his King of Memphis album, Black Youngsta would send a message online. In fact, he actually goes to Dolph's hood and records himself walking through sending a warning.
I remember that video.
What Dolph at, cuz? Where he at, cuz? Where he at? Where he at right now? Where he at? 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 See the left back?
I'ma just talk to him young and dumb.
Where you at? We in Castaigne right now. We just left the store. Where you at right now, dog?
Yo, label boss is gassing.
Where you at right now?
Yeah, bro.
Book, dog. Where you at?
Do this.
Where you at? I love Castaigne.
Granted, he's his own man, but
yeah, we don't with dog.
This is ridiculous.
You fuck with dog, cuz?
This is young.
He then posts a video dissing Dolph, telling him that he's soft and that he's not the King of Memphis.
It's Dolph.
This shit G, bro. Dolph, you a soft ass, you nice ass. If you got a problem, nigga, say you got a problem. Shake ass.
There's nothing wrong with being a nice ass.
You ain't no motherfucking king of Memphis. You ain't king of South Memphis. You ain't trying to see.
So this is when the beef, to at this point the fans and the world didn't know about, would hit the net and everyone would be up to tune. But according to Dolph, this all took him by surprise. Like, we're beefing? What? Since when? To Dolph, it all seeed like a cry for attention, and he really laughed at it and didn't take it seriously.
Now, I mean, you already made your artist use my name to get some attention. I laughed at that. It's funny to me. You see what I'm saying? Right. It's funny to me.
But on top of this, there's a main reason why he didn't take it seriously. And that's because he says that for Yo Gotti's whole career, he's dissed people and tried to start beefs just to get popular. So in his mind, it's like, well, I'm just another victim of Yo Gotti's clout chasing.
How do you get it first? How do Yo Gotti get pop and get some attention? Nobody heard of him to win till he dissed 3-6 Mafia.
This is true. Right, okay.
Right.
Swear to God.
Had to use 3-6 Mafia and dish them.
Why you
get
dissing
some attention.
legends?
Right. You made your artist use my name to get some attention. See what I'm saying?
Right. And to conclude his message, he puts out his truth. Gotti is just hating on me because I'm successful.
You hating on him because he wouldn't sign with you? Know what I mean? Right. You hating on him because he popping and he really popping and he's still independent. Know what I mean? Right. You hating on him because he really got M's and did the shit without no help.
Now you might be thinking that this is all silly internet shenanigans, and it is, but in a city like Memphis, much less can get you slumped. Like once you go on the radio discussing the beef, or you walk through somebody's hood and diss them, yeah, all the squabbling is out of the window. This is not like other cities. When it's up, it's really up, and for really no reason at all, Dolph was now a major target in Memphis. There were a bunch of people ready to crash out for Yo Gotti, as you'll see for the rest of the video. But either way, standing down or throwing the white flag was not in Dolph's character whatsoever. In fact, he would do the complete opposite. He would drop one of the most disrespectful diss songs in rap history. February 22nd, 2017.
Don't play with me. Play with your back.
In the song, he gets straight to business.
Don't play with me, Ho Gotti, you a hoe, man. You went from my biggest fan to my biggest hater, begging me to sign with you, but you know I had too much paper.
To make matters worse, he disses Yo Gotti's big brother Jook by saying that he used to serve him, but now he calls him Big Sister. The song slaps, and literally the entire thing is disrespectful. So instantly it would go viral, and he had everyone in the country dissing Yo Gotti. On accident, I guess. Basically, this was stop playing with me with all the threats, I'm not scared of you or worried about you at all. Please just get off my. Well, obviously, Yo Gotti was more than pissed, along with his big brother Jook, because his name was dragged into it as well. This was obviously a major power move by Dolph, but I'm not sure he knew what he was up against. Or maybe he did and just didn't care. Why I say that? Well, now I have to introduce you to Yo Gotti's muscle and power in the streets of Memphis.
Oh, Lord.
As you'll see, this was nothing to play with. Being a multimillionaire results in having ultimate power in a city like Memphis. That's because there's an infinite number of crash outs who will slide for a small fee. It's really that simple. But on top of this, for Yo Gotti, he had family connections to a notorious gang in North Memphis known as the Trula Mafia. And although this isn't an organized gang with put-ons, DPs, squabbles, and all that, it's more so like crash outs that rock together and crash over anything. And when I say over anything, well, that's my segue to introduce you to some of their members. First, we have a guy named Justin Johnson, who's locally known as the rapper Straight Drop. This is a guy who's truly willing to sit down and do life for any reason possible. Why I say that? Well, that takes us to January 31st, 2017. It's a regular Tuesday night in Memphis, and Straight Drop takes his girlfriend out to a bowling alley in East Memphis. So at 8 p.m., the couple head off to Hardwick Lanes and get to bowling together. As they're bowling, Straight Drop somehow gets into an argument with the couple in the lane right next to them. And boom, just like that, they start throwing hands while their feet are slipping everywhere. After the security separates them, Straight Drop puts his hands up and walks out of the bowling alley as if he's showing mercy. I don't want any problems. But little does
brother, he's about to shoot up the whole building. Brother, if niggas ever get into a tussle, altercation, fight, brouhaha, whatever you want to call it, bro, motherfuckers throwing hands, and then a nigga do this and walk away and say you got it, or he don't say nothing at all, he getting that fire. You better vacate the premises. He's getting that weapon.
As everyone know, he has other plans. As he walks to his car, he tells his girl to hop in the driver's seat and pull around in 2 minutes. He then grabs a chopper out of his trunk, cocks it, and walks right back to the bowling alley. There, he sees the couple that he fought right outside, and sadly, without hesitation, he straight drops on them. Bam! Thankfully, after being rushed to the hospital, the couple would be okay. And on top of this, later that night, police were able to get security footage and track down the license plate. They discovered that the car belonged to Straight Drop's girlfriend, so the first thing the next morning, they raided her house. At 4 in the morning, they busted into her house, put her in handcuffs, and what do you think's next? She understandably starts crying, and she tells the police every single thing that happened. My boyfriend Justin Johnson popped the couple, and me, I had nothing to do with it. So boom, just like that, Straight Drop is arrested, facing 2 attempts and 2 assaults with a deadly weapon, and of course, 20 years in Tennessee prison. Now you might be wondering what was the point of this story, but trust me, Straight Drop will be very important later on. Oh, and so will his best friend named Cornelius Smith. This guy's got a track record longer than Jason Love. Kidnappings, carjackings, assaults, you name it, just all the Memphis activities. So now you understand that these are the type of guys that Gotti has on speed dial. Absolute crash outs who are willing to smoke Dolph, not because he did anything to them, but because Boss Man wants it done. But thankfully for Dolph at this very time, they were both locked up. But regardless, this didn't mean that he was safe, and that takes us to February 25th, 2017. It's the annual CIAA basketball tournament in Charlotte, North Carolina. And if you're unfamiliar, the tournament is a tradition where the historically black schools compete for a trophy. While Dolph is in town to support the tournament and of course to perform in 2 parties as well. The first of which is an outdoor day party in Charlotte's 4th Ward. So Dolph performs at 5 p.m, everything goes well, and once he's done, he collects his money and heads off to his next booking. Or at least that's his intention. 6:30 p.m. Dolph and his crew hop in a black Escalade and head down Caldwell Street. As they turn the corner onto 8th Street, that's when a car gets right up behind them. The random car rolls their windows down and out of nowhere starts blowing at the Escalade. After dumping over 100 shots into the Escalade, the car speeds away thinking that Dolph and his crew are definitely goners. But little do they know, the Escalade is 100% bulletproof and not a single round pierced through. But regardless, this was definitely a scary incident and a wake-up call to how serious Dolph's beef was. His rivals want him dead so bad that they're willing to send hitters his way in completely different states. 100+ shots is what you call overkill, and definitely was a statement being made. If he wasn't before, Dolph was now aware of the level of danger ahead. Except he really didn't seem to care, at all. Why I say this? Well, because right after getting lit up 100 times, he still went on to perform at his later show.
In a day party. I was leading a day party. We was headed to where we was headed to. Pull up like on a day party, get up the street. They started shooting, they shot.
Yeah, I don't trust party shooting was over that.
And shit, I had another party to go to that night. You know what I mean? So, shit, we went and did our party that night.
Not me.
Dolph was the ultimate hustler, and not to mention that he just wasn't scared of anything. On top of this, he wanted the world to know that I'm not worried about Yo Gotti whatsoever. Just a month after the incident, Dolph would release a song called 100 Shots, alluding to everything that happened. So basically after this, the whole world knew that Yo Gotti was thirsty for Dolph's head.
Pause. Oh my goodness.
Let me try that again. Yo Gotti wanted to spank Dolph. And even after this major failed attempt...
Nigga, pause again. Like, even though I know you mean, I know you mean, that, but brother, you just said a grown man wants to spank another grown man. Ew. Pause.
In Charlotte, they weren't done yet. Persistence, persistence, persistence. We're gonna keep trying and we're gonna find you wherever you are. And that fast forwards us 6 months to September 26, 2017. It's a Tuesday afternoon in Los Angeles and young Dolph arrives in town for a show on Thursday. He lands around 2 p.m. and takes a limo with his crew to Hollywood where he checks into the Lowe's Hotel. Shortly after checking in, he figures why not go outside and do some shopping. So by himself with no worries, he walks down to Shoe Palace on Hollywood Boulevard. As he's approaching the store, a gold Escalade is creeping up behind him. That's when 2 men spot Dolph, hop out of the Escalade and run him down. Bam! They pop him up, run back to the car, and then speed away. Dolph knows that he's critically injured, so he runs into the Shoe Palace, flags down employees, and tells them to call an ambulance. Thankfully, the ambulance arrives in under 5 minutes and Dolph is rushed to the hospital. Regardless, it's still very serious as Dolph is listed as critical condition.
Bullets fly near the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Tourists ducking and a rap artist was hit and seriously injured. Tonight, police say an ugly rivalry may be behind that shooting.
Meanwhile, while Dolph is in there fighting for his life, the suspects crash the Escalade in the Hollywood Hills. They try their best to run away on foot, but little do they know Los Angeles has helicopters in the sky. So within minutes, 2 arrests are made. As the news breaks of Dolph getting shot, everyone in the world is wondering what the heck happened. Was this a robbery gone wrong, or did Dolph have beef with someone in LA? Cause there's definitely no way that his rivals in Memphis went all the way to California to get him. And to do this on Hollywood Boulevard in front of everyone? Nah, no chance. But little did people know the dudes in Memphis are different.
A man has been arrested in connection with the shooting of rapper Young Dolph. Police booked Corey McClendon from Memphis, Tennessee for attempted murder. Young Dolph was shot multiple times Tuesday after getting into an argument with 3 men outside of a Hollywood hotel.
Brother, what's no argument?
The rapper remains in critical condition. Bail for McClendon has been set at $1 million.
So now the question is, who is this Corey McClendon from Memphis, Tennessee? Well, according to Los Angeles police, he's a longtime childhood friend of Yo Gotti. So this all but confirmed.
Brother, and it would have been at that time, it would have been confirmed. Nigga, I was gonna get away from Memphis, but nigga, you was in Hollywood and they still pulled up. Like, you literally can't let niggas know your whereabouts ever, and that's damn near impossible because you're a public figure. I mean, they're wilding. No, they're wilding. Like, nigga, you needed 24-hour security, but you're a street nigga, so I know you felt like what I look like, but hey, the security would have stopped a whole lot going on. I promise.
Confirms exactly what this was about. At this point, Dolph is so hated that he can't even travel safely to cities like Charlotte or Los Angeles, California. Well, thankfully, Dolph was able to recover, but this was yet another scary incident. Not only did his ops track him down all the way on the other end of the country, but they were also staying at the exact same hotel. This was very suspicious, but somehow Corey McClendon was able to beat the case 2 years later.
How? They didn't have any cameras? We on a Hollywood walk where the stars is at. You telling me no one saw anything? How? Whatever. What?
This was a second failed attempt on Dolph's life, and at this point, it's like, come on, give it up. First of all, from what we know, the beef isn't that deep. It's just simple jealousy, that's it. And thankfully, for the meantime, the attempts on Dolph's life would calm down.
Pride coming before the fall.
Just peace, prosperity, and elevation for Dolph's life. For the next few years, the CMG side was focused on building up their record label, and Dolph was turning into a global star. Both sides were absolutely thriving and definitely putting on for Memphis. So because of this, there was really no need to beef at all. It even got to the point that Dolph started rolling around Memphis by himself in his flashy cars. The bottom line is that after the Los Angeles shooting, it was a very good 4 years for both sides. So in everyone's minds by 2021, the beef is pretty much a memory.
You would think, right?
But little did people know, for whatever reason, the CMG side was still as motivated as ever to spank Dolph. In fact, Memphis police believe that they were so determined to end Dolph that Gotti's brother Jook would put a $100,000 bounty on his head.
I just don't understand. Gang, y'all almost took him out the game twice. Let it go. Let it go. It's clearly a sign from God. Y'all wasn't supposed to get the nigga. Let it go. Y'all niggas said, nah, bro. Third time's the charm. What the fuck? Petty ass niggas.
That takes us to mid-November 2021. Dolph is back home in South Memphis visiting family and friends, driving around in his signature camo-wrapped Corvette. Obviously, just being in Memphis alone is a risk, but driving around in the car that you post all over the internet? My goodness, man. Maybe he thought the camouflage would make him invisible, but that's really not how it works. Or maybe he just didn't think he was in danger and had no clue about the $100,000 bounty on his head. But unfortunately, the hitters from the other side know all about the bounty, and once they get word that Dolph is in town, they get ready to lurk. Well, that takes us back to some people that I introduced earlier. First, we have Justin Johnson, also known as Straight Drop. Wait, wasn't this the guy who lit up the bowling alley and got arrested for it? Yep, was facing 20 years in prison. However, Memphis is so lenient on crime that he only did 6 months in jail before being released. What the hell? And because of this negligence, he was right back to the life of crime in the streets. And secondly, we have Straight Drop's best friend, a man named Cornelius Smith. And this guy, well, he was supposed to be in prison as well, for carjacking and for kidnapping. However, in typical Memphis fashion, a judge let him off easy once again. Well, because of this, the duo were back together in the streets and hungry for that alleged $100,000 bounty.
Wow. If you want to commit a crime,
while Dolph is casually riding around Memphis in his Corvette, these two are riding around looking for him. And that takes us to November 17th, 2021, 12:15 p.m. Dolph leaves his grandma's house in South Memphis and heads to a local bake shop called Makita's Cookies. After getting a couple of cookies and supporting the local business, he walks back out to his Corvette. But little does he know, Straight Drop and Cornelius know exactly where he's at and they're on their way. So while Dolph is standing outside his car not paying attention, Straight Drop and Cornelius pull up in a white Mercedes that they stole the day before. As soon as they spot Dolph, they instantly stop the car and hop out with choppers. And without hesitation, they start unleashing. After carrying out the hit, they speed off and head to a local neighborhood called Orange Mound. And here's where they arrive at the house of an associate named Hernandez Govan. Without wiping down the car, tossing blicks, changing license plates, nothing. They simply park in his driveway and walk inside in the same clothes they did the hit in. Now, why exactly are they there? Well, police say that they're there to collect the money from Jook, except that Govan is the middleman. So they inform him that they completed the job and they discuss where the payment will come from. They end up agreeing that Cornelius will get $45,000, Straight Drop will get $45,000, and Govan's cut is $10,000. Now, to me, this is ridiculous. The risk in only getting $45,000 and then $10,000 for Govan? No way. Not enough. But in a poverty-stricken city like Memphis, $45,000 is absolutely life-changing. So after being promised the money, the duo decide to cover their tracks. They wipe down the car for fingerprints and take the weapons used and throw them into the Mississippi River. And as far as the white Mercedes they used, well, they would just take it right next door to Govan and park it behind an abandoned house.
Why would you not chop it?
So on January 5th, 2022, an arrest warrant would be made for Justin Johnson.
A breaking news update this afternoon. We are digging deeper into the criminal history of the man accused of killing beloved Memphis rapper Young Dolph. This afternoon, multiple law enforcement agencies are looking for Justin Johnson and offering thousands of dollars for information leading to his arrest. WREG Shea Arthur spent the day investigating Johnson's past and is live tonight with what she found out. Shea, what do you have?
Hey Alex, yeah, that 23-year-old spent several years in federal prison, but he was released pretty recently, actually in May, for good conduct. Tonight, U.S. Marshals, Memphis Police, and Tennessee Bureau of Investigation agents search for Justin Johnson, accused of murdering 36-year-old Adolph Thornton Jr., the well-known rapper Young Dolph. His death at a cookie shop sending shockwaves through the city. But tonight, we're learning Johnson was also responsible for another crime that also shocked innocent bystanders back in 2017. Records show at the time an 18-year-old Johnson got into a fight at Billy Hardwick's All-Star Lanes in East Memphis.
We heard ambulances, we heard police, we heard just the police cars screaming.
Police say he went to his car, got an assault rifle, and shot into the crowd, injuring multiple people. A few months later, court records show Johnson pleaded guilty to several charges of aggravated assault. A year later, officers say he drove a car into a gated apartment complex and refused to leave. Police say they found a loaded gun and marijuana in the car. Records indicate those charges were dropped. In 2019, he was committed to federal prison, then released May 25th, 2021. Several sources...
Sway, how, though? He shot at somebody, bruh. I know they didn't rest in peace, but nigga, that's the end of part one of This Nigga's Crazy. Of Murder for Dolph. How Yo Gotti's crew are getting obliterated in Memphis. Stay inside or get belted. This is a Swamp Stories video. I'm just confused, Justin. Like, nigga, you were supposed to be at least have 20 ball. You get out and you say, I know I could lay low, but it's 100K on that nigga head. Now, maybe if you was getting the whole bulk of the 100K, I could be like, unless you're getting some type of bankroll, but nigga, you gotta split it 3 ways. No, you can't get the 45. No, you can't get the 10. Nigga, get the out my face. Matter of fact, I'm not doing this. This is stupid. That's the end of the video. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, share the video. Share your thoughts on the video in the comment section below. Hit the notification bell so you can stay up to date when I drop videos on the channel. Stay safe, y'all. I'll catch you in the next one.
Everything I see in IATV, bitch, you best. Everything I see in IATV, bitch, you best. Everything I'm seeing, I achieved it, bitch, you best believe it. It has been my Nintendo switch legit, though, kick it with my kinfolk. Haters just be talking, so I really do not need their info. Yeah, their info. Yeah.